A very good morning to the dignitaries on and off the days, ladies and gentlemen. When my participation for today's function was sought for, I was promised that I will be only asked to be a part of the crowd on the other side. That is, I would only be a spectator. Now, being a lawyer's group, like a typical litigating lawyer, you know, we try to slip in a piece of evidence which is not marked in our typeset of papers. Like that, when I saw the invite, I suddenly found I am the one to give the keynote address. Yes, that is Shanta. Now, having heard Kumari and Mr. Sampath, I was wondering, the keynote address has already been given. What do I do here? But then having prepared, I thought I'd bore you all. The topics for the various sessions, today's sessions, are not only thought-provoking, but it is so relevant to the current scenario. Now, the first thing is about political empowerment. What is political empowerment? Have we women in India really become politically empowered? Now, I looked up the dictionary meaning of political empowerment. It says, to invest with power, especially legal power or official authority. Now, taking that, according to me, my understanding is we can split political empowerment into three categories. One is the first empowerment is our right to select the right leader. That is the right to vote. And this is very relevant because we're just a few days away, a month away from the elections. The second is to be part of the decision making. Women should have a say in decision making. That is where we get into the government. And then, once we get there, the next stage is to lead. Now, if we look at the political empowerment as far from the Indian perspective, we women are really quite mighty, because I am told that at least the statistics say that the women voter turnaround is much more than the male. That is something that we women should use. We must be able to use this elections, the right to vote, to try and elect people who have the women's interest at heart. Let us not be swayed by the WhatsApp messages that run around. Let us not be swayed by these freebies that are given, please. We women must use and exercise our franchise very judiciously. Now, that is where a lawyer step in. The women lawyers step in. We must be able to turn around, educate the illiterate women, point out to them what exactly it is that you want. See, there are many women who do not know that they have some rights, especially the rural women. They are brought up in a particular social conditioning. So they think this is all that we have. So they must be made aware of what their rights are. Now, when there are rights, there are also duties. We also have to bear it in mind that many of us don't understand what empowerment is. We think that being empowered is to do whatever we like. That is not what is empowerment. We must also remember that with every right, we also have a duty. And that is a duty which we have to exercise very, very carefully. And one duty that we have is to vote and select the government that is going to do something for the people of the country. Now, the next form of political empowerment was the inclusion of women in decision-making process. Now, to ensure this, actually, the Parliament has passed the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment, where 33% of the seats have been reserved in local government for women. Now, in many cases, yes, we do have women in the local government, but who actually runs it? It's the husband from behind who runs it. So that is where you step in. You have to tell the women that you're just not there as a puppet. You have to take a decision. And that is when once women recognize and realize that yes, they are not here to do something at their husband's or brother's or father's bidding, but that they can exercise their right sitting there and do something, not only for women's empowerment, but for everyone's empowerment. Let us not stick it only to the women's empowerment, because there are several where even the men are facing a lot of problems. So to judiciously exercise the decision-making power, that is something that we have to educate. That is where educated women step in. Now, in fact, I was impressed by what Mrs. Shantakumari was saying, that they have regular seminars and other things. You must also try to start this education where you teach these rural women, skills. You don't have to teach them to talk English, but basic education, and also to teach them a basic skill by which they become self-reliant. That is where once again you step in as a lawyers group. Now, the last limb, women have entrenched ourselves in the last limb, namely the government. Today, we have a lot of women who are in the forefront of various political parties, all of whom have sustained a vibrant democracy. In fact, it's so nice to see that across the political thing, you have women standing today for elections. It's a very proud moment for us Indian women, where women are being recognized as leaders. It is because you are recognized as a leader that the political party thinks of even selecting you to stand there. So that is, I think, a major area where we have succeeded. Now, we've had a woman as our president of the country, a prime minister. We have 5 women chief ministers on various stages. We have a dynamic defense minister. Have you ever seen any other country where today we have an external affairs minister and a defense minister who is a woman, and both of them so dynamic? We have to take great pride in that. Now we have women who are there in the armed forces. We have our borders being guarded by women. In fact, I do not know how many of you have watched the Wagah border ceremony. It is led by 2 girls. They walk in first, and it's so, it really goosebumps just come in seeing those girls just march across and face the other side out there. So we have been empowered, but is it sufficient? Is it enough? Should there not be something more? Now that is where our men friends come to help us. Of course, we have to depend on the men. It's like the animal kingdom where, the lioness has to look towards the lion for the final kill. The day the man is able to recognize that, yes, in our Hindu culture, she is known as an Ardhangini, you're equal, you're better half, you're equal. The day men start recognizing that the woman is an equal, he gives her the equal partnership. That I think is sufficient. No woman here wants to be much above a man or thing. We just want equality. That is all I think. I'm sure most of you will agree with that statement of mine. Now, we have a lot to pull our collars as far as political the front is concerned. But then we are faced with an increasing crimes against women. And cyber crimes against women and children are on the steady rise. Pollachi has been a real blot on our entire society. I think the Tamil Nadu, where women till now have been treated with a lot of respect, and still do. I will never say that South Indian culture still treats women with a lot of respect, but Pollachi is definitely a blot on our entire social system, where even men have to hang their head in shame. In fact, men have to hang their head in shame much more than the women. Now, this is an area where we all have to really introspect. Now, statistics state that cyber crimes are on a steady increase as compared to offenses under the Indian Penal Code. So, I'm told that, and the various crimes that women face today is particularly, we are all vulnerable to this cyber stalking. Now, this is a very frightening prospect because you're dealing with a faceless person on the other side. Yesterday, I had a call from one of my friends saying that his daughter has got a call where There's somebody says that he has shot something, he has some a video of hers. And we find that I've got some information that it's coming from the Aircel customer care center. So this is the kind of vulnerability that we are today facing. Children are not being shared. Now, I do not want to step into these issues because I think the experts in the field are going to address this seminar today, and I'm sure we are all going to stand to benefit from their expertise. I really have to thank the organizers for having invited me, given me this opportunity to address the August gathering. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Lordship, for those insightful and profound words. We have a woman leader amidst us today who needs no introduction at all. She has been vociferous in the issues relating to women empowerment and women's rights, and is a beloved leader of women lawyers throughout the country. She is none other than Dr. Ami Yajnik. I now request Dr. Ami Yajnik to deliver the special address.